All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you had a wonderful weekend. We're coming off of an insane week after all of the earnings and data on Friday. Now, this week, we have more earnings, a little bit more data, but the Fed speakers and Jerome Powell are going to move the market this week. Even crazier, tonight at 7 p.m. Pacific time. So a couple of hours after this comes out, we are getting Jerome Powell on 60 Minutes. He's going to be talking about interest rates. I think the little preview of all of it said when he's going to lower it all. But what he says tonight, that will have an effect. And then all throughout the week, I think we're getting like 5 or 6 different Fed speakers, a lot of them voters. And after Friday's jobs report, we'll see how the market deals with it in the seasonality and all that. But, Chad, I hope you're ready for all of it. We still got a ton to talk about. There's going to be a lot of plays. We made plays on Meta last week, $50 into 1,100. Shout out to the 2 standard deviations. Go watch it. Or we'll see you on stream, youtube.com/thisstockmarket. We are going to be live this week and every single day, Monday through Friday, going over the earnings and everything else. So we'll see you there. So, yeah, drop your thumbs up on the video. And don't let me forget, today is Sunday. Tomorrow is Monday. We've been slacking this year. This is our 5th weekend. And did you know commodities are the leader now? They have surpassed the dollar on the year. This is what, our 6th week, I think, that we're starting. So drop your random play. Option, keep it below $100. Post it in the comments. Strike price, expiration, all that good stuff. And we are going to pick it tomorrow. But now, Chad, we have to talk about so much. Run it, baby.
Working to the couch, it's the 2020 legs. Live in the hills, but I still get a spread. Started with a live, but I still reinvest it. Feel how I feel, then it feel like a blessing. I just want the lesson, I just want protection. I'm up and I'm down, but they sound like progression. Farmer never plans if he waits for perfection. Finger to the down, hold it down.
So right off the bat, let's just start with what happened on Friday, because that was absolutely insane. It was a pure anomaly in many ways. Not only did the jobs report come in by over 4 standard deviations, I'm going to show you that, but the other part of the day had to do with Meta earnings. They were up 20%. The other chip makers were up. Even Amazon, another or I think right above $2 trillion company, they were even up 8%. It was a lot of things going on, and there was a lot of just surprises that happened on Friday, and that caused a huge reaction all the way from bonds to individual movers, and that's why now to come into this week, there's 2 things we're going to be juggling. More earnings, their post-reactions from this week, but now also what we got with the jobs report. This is why the Fed speakers are going to be so important this week, because this was an absolute terror of a number. This was a huge beat. I say terror, I don't know why, because the market ended up going up. It did hurt the bonds, but this is what we kept going over on Friday. If you watched the video, the preview we made the day before, this is how the trading economics data would have looked. You would have seen the jobs report, 216 on the last month, 173 on the one before that. Well, this is how it looks like now when you go back to the data, because what you saw on Friday was one of the biggest revisions. I think even Nick Timmerhouse, where's that chart that he posted? This was like the biggest standard deviation, not only move, but like gap between the initial estimate and then the number that got revised. And this is over the last 3 years. So it was a huge beat on Friday there. I am surprised the equities went up, but I don't know if that was only because of the earnings effect. But now this week, we want to see what the Fed speakers are going to say, and that is probably going to be the most important thing. But we're coming off of a lot of juice on Friday. It brought the bonds down a little bit, and you even got to see a decent reaction, but even equities, they hit another all-time high. So we're going to watch for a lot of that follow-up and hangover to start the week. That's your first key, but now the other thing is what we are going to be dealing with. We're going to be having a lot of data randomly throughout the week. We actually get tomorrow ISM services. We did get a decent reaction on ISM manufacturing. If you remember last week, that was before all of the bigger data and earnings there, but we will be getting the services. That's usually more important. You're getting a 10-year auction on Wednesday, and even on Tuesday, there's a senior loan officer survey. This was a big deal during all of the banking crisis stuff, so you had a little bit of that drama last week. We'll see if that comes up. Remember, that was a big factor on the bonds we were talking about the other day, but besides that, it is going to be the Fed speakers, and then you got a ton of earnings throughout the week. So everything from Uber and PayPal, I think McDonald's is even Monday, Palantir, I'm telling you, the list is absolutely gigantic. We are going to go over a couple of these when we get into some of the plays, but you still have another round of it. The only thing we got out of the way was the big tech earnings, and then we're going to actually see how their follow-up is. But so far, earnings season has helped a lot of people pretty much ignore everything in the market and keep going up. Again, that has been even a unique phenomenon so far that we've gotten this year. Yields are up and stock in tech is all up as well too. So watch out for all the data this week. We'll see how it plays in, but I really do think the Fed speakers are going to be the main key. And then now that's what I'm ending it with. It's very simple. Watch what they say in relation to the jobs report, the thing we were looking for last week. If Powell was saying that a strong jobs report isn't necessarily a bad thing, do we see them echo that and have dovish comments to all those reports? That'll probably be one of the bigger drivers this week, or the biggest. And then obviously what happens with Powell tonight. So watch out for all of that. I hope you're ready for more plays, though. So now let us get into the plays. So right off the bat, I got a lot of different plays, but I think it's only right we start with earnings here, because even though we did get the big dogs out of the way, there is still a lot of names, and these ones, though, they are probably going to be pricing in a lot. And one thing I'll even say, so like Disney, this is one of the first plays, Disney, Uber, PayPal. These are some this week that we have in the long term, but a lot of them are kind of at these key levels or undergoing a big move. But this is what I'll tell you to watch out for with some of the plays on earnings this week, if they've already had an insane run-up. Now, I want to point out Disney, because we even saw this with Intel. Sometimes if they're just running 10, 20% ahead of their earnings, then depending on wherever the earnings comes out, unless it's like a blowout, they're probably just going to come back to that level here, and the premiums are all going to be crazy. But then again, Meta had an insane rally, all-time highs leading into their earnings, and, well, they just continue to go crazy. So keep that in mind with some of those plays, but I do think Disney, that's one that I like. We're already in, and I say this because we're already in a play that's already up 100%, so we could either ghetto spread that. We were going to do that with the Meta last week. Thankfully, we didn't, but at the same time, that could be a way to lower risk, especially if it's already moved. But I'm going to be watching Disney, Uber, PayPal, big growth names that report. There will be names. McDonald's, I think we'll have to play it tomorrow morning. We'll see where that's going to be at, but again, names like Eli Lilly, Ford, CMG, ARM, I'm telling you, there is still a lot of names. And even the week after that, and I don't know if I said that there in the keys, well, it was in the writing, but you do have CPI the week after that. So don't go too crazy this week. We'll see how much of an impact the Fed speakers really have. But if things do get moving, these are going to be a lot of names, but we still are going to have a lot of opportunity for these earnings. But that is play number one. Then play number two, related to what we saw on Friday, man. ZB, I made a play on it after the bonds went down 1%. I thought they'd have a rubber band effect, but no, the bonds were not that immune to such a killer jobs report. I really thought they would be on Friday. They did go slightly positive than where they were at the start of the Fed meeting, so history slightly defended itself there, but that jobs report was big. It does depend on how the Fed speakers, what they say this week, but that 10-year bond auction on Wednesday, we'll see how that plays off. But if the Fed speakers don't start off very bullish, I may want to get out of this, take my loss from Friday, or we'll ride it out and hopefully we could get out by the auction, just depending on how volatile it is before. But we'll see how that plays out, but definitely watch the bonds, especially after that jobs report on Friday. So that is play number two. And then finally, play number three, kind of a random of an option play. I just think we are going to have a lot of opportunities with earnings, so be there on stream. Those are going to be a lot of the plays I'm probably going to be doing, but this play on Friday, we grabbed it, cytokinesis. Remember, we even have the shares of this. They had a good heart data. Then there was a news of them potentially getting bought out, and then they rejected it. They said they wanted more money. Well, it's been a couple of weeks. The stock came down a little bit, and so did the options, so I decided to take a risk on it. And like I just said there on the keys, or was in writing there, I like what I've been doing here, but this one is definitely a low probability play, but I'm focusing on lower exposure. So the whole idea here with this play, I grabbed a March, I think 130 for about like 35 cents. So it's a $35 risk. But what I'm looking for here is if we hear more negotiations about a higher price. Again, I believe they did reject 120, so I'm assuming they get more than 130, but you only have 40 days, and if they do get an offer and it's lower than 130, you instantly lose. So that's the third play. We'll see how it ends up playing out, but this one's probably going to be more of a swing. And then the rest of this week, we still got metas. We made a couple of plays on Friday on Meta. We got out of the earnings play, and I mean, how did this one work? I forgot. It was 2 standard deviations was actually only like $60. So that was like the 245s or the 250 or the 425s or the 450s or 440s or 450s. What am I saying? But I ended up going with the 475s. Those still hit. We bought these at 50 cents, sold out for 1,100. They went as high as 1,600. But then in the morning, I grabbed the 510s for 59 cents. They went up to $3, came down to 120, and then I got the 530s here for 28 cents. They even shot up to $1.20, and then they came down. But still holding those. Took profits on the one meta, paid for a lot of the other plays last week. I closed out of the AXP for like $100, small gain on that one, and then we even got out of the Google put for about like 100 or 200%, bought it for 40, sold it out for like 100, and then got a little bit more money back. But after that meta there, it made a lot back for the earnings, and then we get to keep a little bit more of the profit from the weeks before. So that was great. Going to be riding those, but I think we're going to go for earnings plays, maybe be a lot more specific this week, and then pick and choose because we only got a couple of weeks and then it's over. But Chad, I hope you're ready for all of it in another crazy week. But that is your watch list, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you're healthy, ready to go. Make sure to post your watch list. Make sure we see you there in the morning. I need the armor on. I need the helmet shining. And I need you to remember, baby, the only enemy is you, baby. Oh, it's so deep. Learn to master it along with other things, and you're going to be good, and always keep the long term in mind, baby. Shout out to future self. No, but Chad, I love you. Drink that water. Stay hydrated and healthy. Let's have a great week. I will see you in the morning, and horn.